Ooh, okay, official announcement. That's all I'm prepared to do after all of that. We just have some housekeeping in the spirit of the grace that's been displayed here this evening. Please pick up after yourselves. And then we have a couple of minutes for questions. Unfortunately, we hope there was more time. So we're not even going to ask folks, I think, to come up here. Just, anybody with something on your mind, now's your chance to please float it. Oh, and okay, I'm not going to say the one more thing. I forgot to acknowledge Margaret's role in the journal at the beginning, so I'm sorry. Margaret Porter-Troop plays an essential role as well, so I wouldn't live with myself if I didn't do that. Sure.
I was just wondering if any of the writers that wrote books with them yourself?
No, not me. Not me. But he's got a few books.
Alright, so there's some listeners, connect with them afterwards. Essential question.
Thank you.
I know it's difficult. It's difficult to really even say anything after that. But anybody have anything burning? Oh, also, yeah, I do have something burning. There are other people also that were in the journal that are here tonight, so you can meet them and kind of get to know them for a short while. Jan Castro, who's been just like an amazing contributor. She's been in a number of journals. Thank you. Baba Ishmael Reed once again. Just an intense piece of writing that really everybody should check out. And then Elizabeth Turnock, who is also here, and I can't pinpoint her right now. Please stand up if you're here. No? Right. Did I miss anybody else out? Please forgive me. Did I miss anybody else out? Okay. So, anybody, any other questions?
I think everybody should buy the journal. It's a wonderful collection of art pieces.
Yeah, I thought that goes without saying though. Maybe you would feel more pressure if they were up here and facing you. Because now it's just me and like, yeah.
So this is a question for Kwame Das.
Go ahead.
Okay. I was wondering if you could talk a bit about your father's relationship with Kofi Omonor, because I know Kofi really looked up to him.
Yeah.
And so I thought that would be really nice.
Yeah. Well, when I was born in Ghana and grew up in Ghana. So, and for years, and really until my father died in 1984, Awona was like the uncle that you really wanted to come to the house. Because if my father was miserable and Kofi came in, he became a happy guy. Like, there was no cussing nobody out, nothing like that. He was very happy. And anything we wanted, ice cream, yeah, ice cream, and so on. And if my father was resistant to anything like that, Kofi, we knew as our uncle, who would just say, oh, Neville, come on, let them do it. And we loved him for this. But they knew each other for years when Kofi Owona was a student and my father was a teacher at the University of Ghana. And so he encouraged Kofi to write poetry. So Kofi Owona regarded my father as a mentor. And they developed a really close relationship as Marxists, as revolutionaries, and as drinkers. And, and they did that quite committedly. But he was a great uncle to me. And when I became a Christian in my teens, my father arranged for Kofi Owona to come and talk to me because this was a crisis of like child delinquency of the mammoth proportions. And so Kofi Owona came to me and he says, sit down. And I sat down and he says, I was about 18 years old. And he says, I hear, what is this Christianity thing? And I said, well, like, that's what I'm doing. And he said, oh, do you like to fuck? And I said, Well, I suppose. I mean, it's not what I'm up to, but if you like to fuck, you can't fuck if you're a Christian. Right. So that was his advice. I mean, he thought, and I must say that was like a struggle for me at that point. Yeah, I really had to think twice about that whole Christianity. But no, but he was great, and their relationship goes back. He was very close to my mother, and yeah, it was rough. It was rough when he died. So thanks for asking. Yeah. And Christians do fuck, okay? Just in case you were wondering. But they don't say fuck. Yeah?
The question is for Marcus.
Come on.
I really enjoyed your excerpt. Wondering if you have a curriculum piece to the book, because I'm interested in using it for some of the students that I homeschool.
That's an idea. That could probably be, put that together.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. The answer is yes. Yes. In fact.
Hello, Marcus.
Hey.
You talked, well, first of all, let me say thank you for sharing your experience with us. I felt very cared for as an audience member and went on this journey with you, so thank you. Can you talk about your work as a musician? You mentioned being a DJ in LA, and how that has influenced your work as a writer.
If I had more time, I would have went into that because, that's kind of, the music came before the book. And what had occurred was I was producing house music when I wasn't writing. So my schedule for the past 6 years has been 8 years writing, 8 hours writing, 8 hours working on tracks, 6 days a week, and DJing on the weekends, to pay the rent because writing doesn't really pay. So what would happen is the studio in my flat is right next to a folding table with the writing. So when I need to take a break, I go and work on a bass line or drums or whatever. And as I was moving into it, I've been playing instruments since I was a kid, been in bands and stuff, and I play a lot of instruments. And a lot of times, I had an idea of putting the music with the music. Now, primarily with house music, it's typically poetry and spoken word, and that was kind of what people were accustomed to. So I didn't want to go that direction. So I decided to, borrow a page from the 50s, the beatniks and those cats, would tell their stories to jazz. So I started taking short stories and excerpts and put them in the music, and we would perform it live. So one of my partners was a cat named Garth Trinidad from KCRW, fantastic voice. And we would play gigs, and the question was, would people listen to, it's dance music, They listen to a story, would they stay engaged? They did. And so about maybe 4 months after I got the book deal, I got signed by Oshunlade from Yoruba Records because he had heard the stuff and he wanted to get behind it. And so the album came out in November called Postcards from Strangers. It's on iTunes and Amazon. 4-song EP, 3 of the songs charted, and a song called Sucre Sacré. It's like the #6 Afro House song in the world for like 2 months. Now, what's interesting about that is that particular song, I'm reading from read knowledge. And the challenge is, well, are people going to get into music when they're dancing or lyrics? And it was the lyrics. So, at dusk the wind blows gently through fields of cane, singing to a zaka, as the red sky begins its journey to dawn. And it feels like heaven against the back wet from hours of cutting cane. That little piece, fans from Italy, South Africa, all over the world would write me, or Matteo Sonoia, my other name, for music, and how much it touched them. to the extent that 2 weeks ago, we were in this club, 3 o'clock in the morning, it's packed, it's house music, it's on, it's Oshunlade, it's a whole bunch of folks. And they put that tune on, and it's a remix, so they don't know the song. And the minute they hear, at dusk the wind blows gently through fields of cane, and they start screaming, trip me out, like complete Twilight Zone. Why? Because this is a dance music crowd. This isn't, you know what I mean? So, yeah, the pros, literature and house music. So I said, let me do it now, and he started talking to people about it, because by next year, Tiesto will be working with Stephen King, but I started it.
It devastates me to let you guys know that we're out of time. I'm so sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Just, you know, the folks are here. If you're lucky enough, you might catch them on the way out. Otherwise, check the website out, and hopefully in some time soon we'll be able to set up a forum where you can actually get in touch with the writers themselves. So thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Safe home.